You know that feeling when you are 200 miles from home and your bike starts making a noise you have never heard before? That is not bad luck. That is bad preparation. Most riders pack like they are heading to the grocery store, not a 500-mile trip where the next town is 80 miles away and your cell signal died an hour ago. I have watched riders end trips over a blown fuse, a loose chain, or a tire that should have been replaced before they ever left home. Not crashes, not bad weather. $5 problems that turned into $1,000 rescues. Japanese Shirobai motorcyclists treat packing like their life depends on it, because it does. They run 12-hour patrols in all weather with zero room for error. No breakdowns, no excuses, no calling for a tow truck because they forgot a $5 fuse. Here is the problem. You are not packing wrong because you do not know better. You are packing wrong because you think you will get lucky. Let's fix that before your next trip turns into a disaster. The foundation that kills more long trips than anything else is mechanical failure. You could have prevented with 10 pounds of gear. Shirobai riders carry minimalist toolkits built on one rule: multi-use over heavy redundancy. That means tire plugs, chain lube, and zip ties, not a full socket set that weighs 15 pounds and you will never touch. Tire plugs are non-negotiable. A puncture at highway speed does not care about your schedule. You need a plug kit, a reamer, and a compact CO2 inflator. The whole setup fits in a pouch smaller than your wallet. But here is what happens when you do not have it. You are stuck on the shoulder of a rural highway, waiting for a tow truck that will not arrive for 3 hours because you are in the middle of nowhere. The math is simple. $15 and 5 minutes of practice versus a ruined trip. Then there are the electrical gremlins that strand you mid-highway. Spare fuses and relays. Your bike's electrical system is a single point of failure, and a blown fuse will kill your ignition, your fuel pump, or your lights without warning. Shirobai riders carry a full spare set in a waterproof case because replacing a $2 fuse beats pushing your bike 5 miles to the nearest shop. Speaking of tires, you need a tire pressure gauge and a compact pump at every fuel stop. Underinflation causes blowouts at speed. The rubber heats up, the sidewall flexes too much, and the tire detonates. I have seen it happen at 70 miles per hour, and the rider was lucky to walk away. Check your pressure cold, adjust for the load you are carrying, and recheck after the first 50 miles. This is not paranoia. This is physics. Chain maintenance is the disaster most riders ignore until it is catastrophic. A dry chain stretches. A stretched chain snaps. A snapped chain at speed can lock your rear wheel or punch through your engine case. Carry chain lube and a simple adjuster tool. Shirobai riders lube every 300 miles on long trips, and they check chain tension every morning. It takes 3 minutes and prevents a failure that can end your ride permanently. Here's the one nobody thinks about until it's too late. A tire tread tool. You need to replace your tires before the trip, not during it. Worn tires lose grip in rain, overheat on long highway runs, and fail without warning. Measure your tread before you leave. If you're below the wear bars, you're gambling with your life. Most riders obsess over tools and forget the bike's geometry. The last piece is suspension adjustment. Loaded versus solo settings prevent wobbles and crashes. When you add 40 pounds of gear and a passenger, your bike's geometry changes. The rear sags, the front gets light, and your handling goes to hell at highway speed. Shirobai riders preset their suspension for duty load because a wobble at 80 miles per hour is not a learning opportunity. It is a crash waiting to happen. Tools keep the bike alive. But you need to stay alive too. Your bike can be perfect, and you will still crash if your body shuts down. Dehydration causes fatigue crashes faster than you think. Extra water and electrolyte tabs are not optional on long trips. You are losing fluid through sweat inside your gear even when you do not feel it. By the time you are thirsty, you are already impaired. Your reaction time slows, your decision-making gets sloppy, and you miss the hazards you would normally catch. Shirobai riders carry 2 liters minimum and drink at every fuel stop. Not because they are soft, because dehydration kills coordination, and coordination keeps you alive. Add electrolyte tabs to replace the sodium you are sweating out. Plain water is not enough after 4 hours in the sun. Then there is the first aid kit most riders skip because they think accidents happen to other people. Make it compact with trauma basics. Include a tourniquet and bandages for road rash or worse. You do not need a full emergency medical technician bag, but you need to stop bleeding until help arrives. Road rash can strip skin down to the muscle. A bad crash can sever an artery. If you are 30 minutes from the nearest hospital, a tourniquet is the difference between bleeding out and making it. High-calorie snacks keep you functional without stopping every hour. Nuts and energy bars. Your brain runs on glucose, and when your blood sugar crashes, your focus goes with it. You start missing turns, drifting in your lane, and reacting late to traffic. Carry food that does not need refrigeration, and eat small amounts every 90 minutes. This is not about comfort. This is about maintaining the mental sharpness that prevents accidents. Now let's talk about cold. Emergency blankets and hand warmers. Cold nights drain your energy and decision-making faster than you realize. Your body burns calories just staying warm, and when you are exhausted and hypothermic, you make poor decisions. Shirobai riders pack for worst-case weather, because getting caught in a cold rain at night without thermal protection turns a manageable situation into a survival scenario. Here's the one that surprises people. Earplugs for wind fatigue. The mental drain of highway noise over 200 miles is real. Wind roar at 70 miles per hour is louder than a lawnmower. After 3 hours, the constant noise exhausts your brain even when your body feels fine. You get irritable, your concentration suffers, and you miss critical details in traffic. Earplugs cut the noise without blocking the sounds you need to hear. It's a $2 fix for a problem that ruins long rides. Mental fatigue. Checkpoints are part of the discipline. Plan to pull over every 2 hours, not when you are already impaired. Shirobai riders stop on a scheduled routine because fatigue sneaks up on you. You do not notice you are tired until you are dangerously tired. Set alarms, take breaks, walk around for 5 minutes, and let your brain reset. The last item is helmet visor cleaner wipes. Clear vision in bugs and rain isn't optional. A visor covered in bug guts cuts your visibility by half. Rain smears turn headlights into blinding halos. You can't avoid what you can't see. Carry wipes and clean your visor at every stop. Now let's talk about the visibility and navigation gear that prevents accidents in the first place. Being invisible on the road is a choice to get hit. A high-vis reflective overlayer, whether a vest or reflective tape, is mandatory for night riding and poor visibility. Your dark jacket and matte black helmet look cool in the parking lot, and they are invisible on a rural highway at dusk. Shirobai riders wear reflective vests over their gear because being seen prevents the accident you cannot react to. A driver merging into your lane does not check twice for a shadow. They check once for something bright. Most multi-vehicle night crashes are not reaction failures. They're visibility failures. You cannot evade what never saw you. Night lights and extra reflectors matter on rural dark roads. Streetlights do not exist outside cities. Your stock running lights are not enough when you are sharing a 2-lane highway with semi-trucks doing 70 miles per hour. Add auxiliary lights or reflective tape to your panniers and helmet. Make yourself impossible to miss. The rider who thinks their headlight is enough gets rear-ended by a drowsy truck driver who never saw them. Then there is the weather lie everyone believes. Layered rain gear, always packed. Even sunny forecasts lie. Shirobai riders prepare for sudden typhoons because weather changes fast, and being soaked at highway speed drops your core temperature in minutes. Wet gear makes you cold. Cold makes you slow. Slow reaction time gets you killed. Pack a rain suit that fits over your gear and seals at the wrists and ankles. It weighs 2 pounds and prevents hypothermia. Speaking of tech, your GPS is useless when it is dead. Have a USB charger and a power bank. A dead GPS equals a lost rider on unfamiliar roads. Your phone dies after 3 hours of navigation and music. Then you are guessing at exits and missing turns in construction zones. Carry a power bank that holds 2 full charges and a USB adapter wired into your bike. Shirobai riders never rely on a single power source because getting lost adds hours to your trip and burns fuel you did not plan for. Fuel range matters more than you think. Use a fuel range calculator app. Never guess your tank limits on empty highways. Your bike's range changes with speed, wind, and load. What gets you 180 miles in the city gets you 140 miles on the interstate with a headwind and full bags. Download an app that tracks your actual consumption and plan fuel stops with a 20-mile buffer. Running out of gas 15 miles from the next station is not an adventure, it is a failure. The next habit is the pre-ride weather app ritual. Layer accordingly and have no mid-trip surprises. Check the forecast for your entire route the night before and again the morning of the ride. Temperature swings of 30 degrees between morning and afternoon are common on long trips. Pack layers. You can add or remove at stops. Shirobai riders do not get caught freezing at dawn or overheating at noon because they planned their gear around the weather, not their wishful thinking. The boring stuff saves your ass when everything else fails. Tech fails. Cash and paper save you. Backup cash and ID belong in a waterproof pouch. Your credit card gets declined. Your phone dies. The gas station's card reader is broken. Now what? Shirobai riders carry enough cash for 2 tanks of fuel and a meal because digital payment systems fail at the worst possible moment. Keep your cash in a waterproof pouch with a photocopy of your ID and insurance card. When everything electronic stops working, paper and cash still spend. Escape options planned into your route prevent the panic when your main road closes. Alternate paths for traffic jams and road closures can save hours. Construction shuts down highways without warning. Accidents create parking lots that last for hours. Shirobai riders study their routes the night before and identify 2 alternate paths for every major section. Download offline maps. Know which county roads parallel the interstate. The rider who has 1 route gets stuck. The rider who has 3 gets home. Here is the mechanical detail that separates amateurs from professionals. Pannier weight, balance check. Even load distribution prevents high-speed wobbles. Pack heavy items low and centered. Split your gear evenly between sides. An unbalanced load shifts your center of gravity and makes the bike unstable in crosswinds and emergency maneuvers. Shirobai riders weigh their panniers before every long patrol because a wobble at 80 miles per hour does not give you time to correct. The last habit is the one most riders skip because it's boring. Keep a post-ride bike inspection log. Catch issues early. Shirobai riders treat their bikes like partners, not tools. After every long ride, they check for loose bolts, worn components, and fluid leaks. They log the mileage and note anything unusual. A small oil leak today becomes a seized engine tomorrow. A loose mirror bolt this morning can fall off at highway speed this afternoon. Inspect your bike after every trip and fix problems before they strand you. But here's the real difference between Shirobai riders and everyone else. The discipline. It's not about having better gear. It's about ritual, checklist culture, and no ego. Japanese riders succeed because they follow systems that work. They don't skip steps because they are tired. They don't assume everything is fine because the last trip went smooth. They check everything every time because consistency prevents failure. Western riders treat long trips like casual joyrides. Shirobai riders treat them like professional duties. That's why their failure rates are consistently lower, and ours are not. The gear list does not matter if you do not have the discipline to use it. Pack the right items. Follow the checklist. Respect the process. That is what separates prepared riders from the ones calling for a tow truck. Packing is not about having everything. It's about having the right things. The Shirobai standard is simple. Treat every trip like a professional duty, not a casual joyride. Check your gear. Plan your route. Respect the risks. Which of these 23 items are you missing right now? And which one are you adding before your next trip? Drop it in the comments. Hit subscribe so we can build a safer riding community together.